Seat.
You guys watch?
I did. Okay, we'll try this again. Let's go ahead and call the meeting to order, please.
Regular meeting of Washington, Missouri City Council, Monday, November 2nd, 2020, 7 p.m. Heidrich.
Here.
Holtmeyer.
Here.
Obermark.
Here.
Patke.
Here.
Pettit. Here. Scornia. Here. Sullentrop.
Here.
Wessels. Here. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will all the council members answer if they have or have not read the minutes of the council meeting dated October 19th, 2020? Heidrich.
Aye.
Holtmeyer.
Aye.
Obermark.
Aye.
Patke.
Aye.
Pettit.
Aye.
Scornia.
Yes.
Sullentrop.
Yes.
Wessels.
Aye.
Having read the minutes, are there any questions or comments?
Make a motion. Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Holtmeyer, seconded by Sullentrop, to approve the minutes from our last meeting dated October 19, 2020. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? By your vote, you approve the minutes. Thank you.
Approval and adjustment of agenda, including consent agenda. You have a final pay request for Hotshot Asphalt LLC for parking lot paving and a liquor license application for 3G Infinity LLC, doing business as Plush and the Nest at 310 Elm Street.
Okay, are there any questions about either of these items?
Make a motion. Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Sullentrop, seconded by Patke, to approve the items on the consent agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? By your vote, you approve the items. Thank you.
Priority items, Phoenix Center 2 CID reappointments.
This evening in your packet, there are 3 reappointments to the Phoenix Center Community Improvement District. Their term will be expiring in November of 2024. And those 3 reappointments are Darren Lamb, Mark Wessels, and Wayne Drury. Any questions or comments?
I don't know about that Mark Wessels.
Well, you never know.
I'll make a motion. Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Holtmeyer, seconded by Obermark,
I know, it's what I noticed.
to approve the reappointments of Darren Lamb, Mark Wessels, and Wayne Drury to the Phoenix Center Community Improvement District Board. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? By your vote, you approve the reappointments. Thank you.
Mayor's presentations, appointments, and reappointments. You have a National Apprenticeship Week proclamation.
Take your time.
This evening, we have 3 members here from the Washington School District, and they can come forward. We have a proclamation for them for National Apprenticeship Week. It's my understanding this is a new program. Correct. And this year, we already have, it's a program as which students can get hands-on and make a great relationship with our industries here in our community, and really get some great experience and, really get this ball rolling. So it's a relatively new project for the school district and is being met with a lot of success, from what I understand. So, okay. So it's a mayor's proclamation, City of Washington, Missouri, National Apprenticeship Week. Whereas National Apprenticeship Week is celebrating its 6th anniversary of raising awareness of the vital role apprenticeships provide in creating a qualified and highly skilled workforce in diverse industries in the city of Washington, Missouri, and across the nation. And whereas the advancement and well-being of the United States of America depends upon the continued development of skilled workers in their chosen fields. And whereas an ever-growing number of job creators and career seekers are discovering the benefits of apprenticeship's unique learn-while-you-earn model. And whereas the City of Washington, Missouri recognizes that robust apprenticeship programs provide tangible value to both job creators and apprentices with the potential to increase productivity, improve diversity and inclusion, and reduce recruitment and training costs while providing a pathway to prosperous careers for job seekers. Now therefore I, Sandy Lucy, Mayor of the City of Washington, do hereby declare November 8th through November 14th, 2020 as National Apprenticeship Week in the City of Washington, Missouri. In witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused to be affixed the seal of the City of Washington, Missouri, this second day of November 2020. Signed, Sandy Lucy, Mayor. So there you go. Okay. Say a few words because this is
Absolutely,
relatively new,
it's all
so
brand
tell us
new.
about it.
On behalf of Dr. Van Leer, who wanted to be here tonight with me, she sends her best regards for allowing us to start an apprentice program, but she's kind of had a busy day, if you know what I mean. We started this voyage about 2 years ago, sitting on 353. We have all these businesses that are attracted to Washington, and it's my belief that in order to have great businesses come into Washington, we need to have a strong, educated, and highly skilled workforce. Part of our mission statement with the school district and our strategic plan says that we will ensure that our students are career and college ready when they graduate. And one way we can do that as a career center is to make sure that our kids have those opportunities to be highly engaged in our workforce. So we started with an apprenticeship model. We're one of the first few in the state of Missouri to do that. Cynthia comes to us with some experience, and when she started, I told her we're going to run and drive really fast, and as of today, we have around 27 kids already established themselves as apprentice. That's our effort into making sure that our economic development in Washington is successful. So we wanted to make sure that not only the 353 group, but the council, and the Chamber of Commerce, and all of our industry partners recognize the fact that we're doing our part in, again, making sure that our kids are college and career successful. So I thank you as far as Four Rivers, and again, Dr. Van Leer says thank you as well.
Great work.
Sure. So with me, I have my college and career specialist, Annie Whelan. She's the business relation, working with the industry partners. And then Cynthia Walker, she's the magic behind making sure that we get those kids qualified and establishing those business partnerships. So not only do we have 27 students qualified, we also have 27 businesses that we're already working for, and that number is just going to grow exponentially. Cynthia's been on the job for 9 weeks and has done a remarkable job of really doing those things for our kids, and we just see those things really growing. We were going to have a signing, just like students that get college scholarships to play sports. We were going to have that same type of atmosphere and sign these kids to their jobs, to their career passions. But with COVID and everything off, we decided to kind of push that off. Maybe in the spring we get some things kind of cleared out, but still recognize those kids, because that's just as important as kids that can dribble a basketball or throw a football. Being able to show up and work in a highly skilled manufacturing realm is just as talented. So, again, thank you.
Thank you.
Did he say 27 different businesses?
Yeah.
Yeah.
what I
Isn't that
heard.
great?
Wow, yeah.
Off to a good start.
Citizens' comments?
Okay, is there anyone here who would like to address the council on any item that is not on the agenda? Okay.
Report of department heads?
Any reports that were missing from the previous meeting?
Ordinances, resolutions? An ordinance authorizing and directing the execution of a sanitary sewer easement deed by and between the City of Washington, Missouri and Meadow Lake Farm Property Owners Association.
Patke.
Introduced by Councilman Patke.
This is another one of the easements we needed in order to go ahead and make the sewer connection into Meadow Lake subdivision or whatever. Pretty simple. You can see the exhibit on the very, very back.
Any questions or comments?
An ordinance authorizing and directing the execution of a sanitary sewer easement deed by and between the City of Washington, Missouri and Meadow Lake Farm Property Owners Association. Heidrich.
Aye.
Holtmeyer.
Aye.
Obermark.
Aye.
Patke.
Aye.
Scornia.
Yes.
Pettit. Wessels.
Aye.
Solentrap.
Yes.
By your vote, you approve the ordinance. Thank you.
An ordinance authorizing and directing the execution of an agreement to sell and purchase real estate by and between the City of Washington, Missouri and the County of Franklin, Missouri.
Holtmeyer.
Introduced by Councilman Holtmeyer.
So as you'll remember, a part of the ongoing agreement that we have to go ahead and jointly sell the real estate located out there at South Point Road that we jointly own with the Franklin County, we wanted to reserve 2 acres in the future for the potential site for a water tower as well as a fire station. So this is the potential location that we have for that. We wanted to secure that as we move forward. That was a part of the agreement to sell to the party that we've done, I think, 2 or 3 amendments to the contract. And so this would just allow us to go ahead and purchase it. This would go through, it's my knowledge, the commission has already passed their commission order approving this. This would go through regardless of the other 28 acres and if it sells or not, et cetera. This would allow us to go ahead and purchase our portion of that. So what we are paying in this amount of $35,359.99, that is for us to purchase the 2.08 acres at the contract price per acre times 0.6, because that's what they own 60% of the property out there and we own the other 40.
Have they identified, or have we identified the exact 2 acres?
Yes, we will, as a matter of fact, and then, I don't know, Sal, if you want to put up, can you
I
pull?
don't have the slides on this.
It's basically, if you're familiar out there where you go up around South Point, it's at the highest point on the property due to the fact that we'd want it for the water tower. But it is, as you're going up there, if you'll remember, as you make the turn on the right-hand side, where you start to see those homes that are set back a long distance off of the road. The first one was, I always remembered as the Albers household was the first one that was up there. It would be the lot right adjacent to that. I think about where Sal's got the
Cursor here.
cursor right there.
And that plat is going to planning and zoning next week, and so we got to get that done first before we.
Right. And this just identifies that Lot 8B of Phoenix Center 2, Plat 10. That's the subdivision plat that would be in front of you for approval after it goes through planning and zoning.
Is this the last thing for the final sale of this property?
No, we would still have to go ahead. That's pending the other sale with the other party. I think both are scheduled for a November 30th closing date.
Correct.
Counselor's shaking his head, so.
Correct. Okay.
Any other questions? Okay.
Oh, one other item I would bring up is that we will probably, I talked with Mary about this, and even though the purchase for this would be offset by that pending sale on the November 30th, she still felt that we needed to go ahead and approve a budget amendment for this capital purchase. So I may have a ordinance in front of you at the next meeting, which is still fine. It's prior to the November 30th closing date. So that would be on the 16th.
Did you say it's coming out of capital?
Yes. You have identified this as part of your capital improvement sales tax funds, correct?
Okay.
An ordinance authorizing and directing the execution of an agreement to sell and purchase real estate by and between the City of Washington, Missouri and the County of Franklin, Missouri. Heidrich.
Aye.
Holtmeyer.
Aye.
Obermark.
Aye.
Patke.
Aye.
Scornia.
Yes.
Pettit. Wessels.
Aye.
Solentrap.
Yes.
By your vote, you approve the ordinance. Thank you.
An ordinance authorizing and directing the execution of a contract by and between the City of Washington, Missouri and SCS Engineers for the semi-annual groundwater monitoring program at the Strickoff Sanitary Landfill.
Introduced by Councilman Scornia.
As we stated at the council workshop session prior to the meeting, this happens every 6 months that we have. SCS is in their 4th year, I think, of providing this service for us. Our recommendation is to move forward.
Any questions or comments?
An ordinance authorizing and directing the execution of a contract by and between the City of Washington, Missouri and SCS Engineers for the semi-annual groundwater monitoring program at the Strickoff Sanitary Landfill. Heidrich.
Aye.
Holtmeyer.
Aye.
Obermark.
Aye.
Hettke.
Aye.
Scornia.
Yes.
Pettit. Wessels.
Aye.
Sullentrup.
Yes.
By your vote, you approve the ordinance. Thank you.
An ordinance amending the 2020 budget for the period of October 1, 2019 through September 30, 2020 for the City of Washington, Missouri.
Patkey.
Introduced by Councilman Patke.
This is, as we discussed at the workshop, the first one on 7D is to amend the 2020 budget to account for all the grants, additional revenue sources that we have to reconcile those with actual expenses.
Any questions or comments?
An ordinance amending the 2020 budget for the period of October 1, 2019 through September 30, 2020 for the City of Washington, Missouri. Heidrich.
Aye.
Holtmeyer.
Aye.
Obermark.
Aye.
Patke.
Aye.
Scornia.
Yes.
Pettit. Wessels.
Aye.
Sullentrup.
Yes.
By your vote, you approve the ordinance. Thank you.
An ordinance amending the 2021 budget for the period of October 1, 2020 through September 30, 2021 for the City of Washington, Missouri.
Holtmeyer.
Introduced by Councilman Holtmeyer.
Again, as stated in the previous workshop, this is to go ahead and amend the 21 budget to account for other projects that had to carry over from the previous year, et cetera. So,
Any questions, comments?
An ordinance amending the 2021 budget for the period of October 1, 2020 through September 30, 2021 for the City of Washington, Missouri. Heidrich.
Aye.
Holtmeyer.
Aye.
Obermark.
Aye.
Patke.
Aye.
Scornia.
Yes.
Pettit. Wessels.
Aye.
Sullentrup.
By your vote, you approve the ordinance. Thank you.
An ordinance authorizing and directing the execution of a sales contract by and between the City of Washington, Missouri and Don Brown Chevrolet of St. Louis, Missouri for the purchase of a 2021 Chevrolet 2500 HD regular cab four-wheel drive truck with accessories.
Holtmeyer.
Introduced by Councilman Holtmeyer. This is the truck for
this
the...
is the truck that was in the previous workshop.
Kevin
This
was
has been
talking
budgeted.
about.
Don't have anything else to add.
All right. Any questions or comments, concerns? Okay.
An ordinance authorizing and directing the execution of a sales contract by and between the City of Washington, Missouri and Don Brown Chevrolet of St. Louis, Missouri for the purchase of a 2021 Chevrolet 2500 HD regular cab four-wheel drive truck with accessories. Heidrich.
Nay.
Holtmeyer.
Aye.
Obermark.
Aye.
Patke.
Aye.
Scornia.
Yes.
Pettit. Wessels.
Aye.
Sullentrup.
By your vote, you approve the ordinance. Thank you.
An ordinance approving a boundary adjustment for the Highlands at Fairfield, Plat 4 in the City of Washington, Franklin County, Missouri.
Sullentrup.
Introduced by Councilman Sullentrup. Sal?
I'm going to speak from over here. I'm going to take John's spot. This is, make sure I got the right one pulled up. They're very, very similar. This is a simple boundary adjustment, amending this plat to remove what you see in the red hatched area. For some reason, when this plat was first, back up here so you can see an aerial. So this is at the intersection of Thoroughbred Drive and South Point Road, just right across from Stonecrest. A house was just built there recently. We gave a building permit for it. They had concrete patios in the rear, which you can put over an easement. You just can't put an actual deck. They were wanting to cover one of those patios and realized that there was an easement there. And for some reason, when this subdivision was platted, the entire 25-foot setback was put as a utility easement. And their surveyor certified here that there was not easements in that entire 25-foot width. It only needs to be 10 feet. So they're amending that and vacating the hatched areas so that there will still be a 10-foot utility easement in the back, which is fine for us. We don't need it. We don't need any larger than that. So
So
Still
just,
maintain the 25 from the front.
there's a 15-foot utility easement in the front, and we'll retain that. And then there's a 25-foot setback for structures. That remains.
That stays.
It's just the easement for utilities is not as big.
okay. Any questions or comments?
Is that the only one? The neighbors are 25?
No, it went across there. I'm not really sure why.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's interesting.
As long as they don't build anything over the top of it, there's no need to go ahead and vacate it. But if they, at a later date, they may have to come back to the city and do the same thing.
Easements. Okay, any questions or comments?
An ordinance approving a boundary adjustment for the Highlands at Fairfield, Plat 4, in the city of Washington, Franklin County, Missouri. Heidrich?
Aye.
Holtmeyer?
Aye.
Obermark?
Aye.
Patke?
Aye.
Scornia?
Yes.
Pettit?
Aye.
Wessels?
Aye.
Solentrap.
By your vote, you approve the ordinance. Thank you.
An ordinance approving a boundary adjustment for Marquardt subdivision, Plat 2, in the city of Washington, Franklin County, Missouri.
Solentrap.
Introduced by Councilman Solentrap.
All right. This is a request for something very similar. There's going to be, we've actually got building permits for 3 new homes here, a demo for, apologize, I don't have my laser pointer. This house on the corner on Kingslick, I'm sorry, not on the corner, in the middle there, is going to be demoed. There's going to be 3 new houses here. But we got a building permit for the one in the lot that's highlighted, and it's kind of the same thing. There's a 6-foot side yard setback, and in this case, they had a 10, but for how narrow the lot was, the house was already designed for a 6-foot side yard setback, which meets zoning, but since there was an actual easement there, we couldn't approve it unless they got a request to vacate it or change the layout of the home. They did submit a survey certifying that there were no utilities there. We do not have water and sewer down the side. There was also easement on the other side of this. So there's actually still a 10-foot easement between these 2 lots, which is what our normal subdivision code would be. So we have no issues with this, and we do recommend approval.
He's going to build on Lot BB, right?
All 3 of these will be built on.
He's building on all 3 lots?
That's what I was told, yeah. There's a
You
house
got the
on,
potential there for.
yeah, it's currently 3 lots. They just needed to change this easement to fit the house plan they had on Lot CC.
Any questions, or other than that? Anything else?
An ordinance approving a boundary adjustment for Marquardt subdivision, Plat 2, in the city of Washington, Franklin County, Missouri. Heidrich?
Aye.
Holtmeyer?
Aye.
Obermark?
Aye.
Patke?
Aye.
Scornia?
Yes.
Pettit?
Aye.
Wessels?
Aye.
Solentrap.
By your vote, you approve the ordinance. Thank you.
Mayor's report.
Darren and I were talking this afternoon. Seems to be a lot of development taking place in the city. A lot of, with the apartments and things that are going on. And, we've, for a long time, have looked at our statistics, and we're trying to foster growth in our community and things like that. And for those of you who've been on the council a while, we made some changes to our
Zoning code.
our zoning code, and, we went from 7,500 square foot lots down to, from 10,000 down to 7,500. I mean, we've done that through the years. So Sal recently put together a really good report on what those changes have meant for the city. And I thought it would be great if you could give that presentation to the council members.
Yeah.
maybe at next month's operations meeting or something like that?
First meeting in December.
The first meeting in December? Because when you look at the numbers that he's come up with, I mean, we really have made a difference in how our community is growing and the potential for even more. And, you know, it's been, I remember when the 2010 census results came in, and everybody was talking about all the growth in Franklin County and in this entire area, and our population grew by 600 people.
600, I think.
I mean, in 10 years, from 2000 to 2010, our population had only grown by 600 people. And what we found when we started looking at those numbers then was that everybody around us was growing, but we had not in population. 600 isn't a whole lot. Anyway, so we kind of were looking at that and trying to figure out, you know, what were the issues and what were the concerns and things like that. And so it's now 2020. Unfortunately, I don't know how much our census, we just are doing census this year. I don't know how much of this is going to impact the census, but I think it will at some point. I mean, I think there's just been a tremendous amount of growth taking place and stuff like that. So if you could do that at next month's meeting, I think it's really good information. He's already given it to the 353 and
WCIC.
WCIC.
There's been a lot of discussions at those boards, you know, with regards to growth for the community. Obviously, they're tasked with trying to develop an industry within the community, and the question is always, how do you get the workforce to go ahead and supplement it? So there's been, that's where this kind of originated, and Sal and I both knew that we had, you know, significant amount of growth, and it was like, you know, we probably need to go back over the last few years and just go ahead and document how many new units that we've created as a result of it. And it's not only just the zoning, I mean, the zoning is a big part of it, and as Sandy alluded to, the lot size, which for years we had, it took a long time to get to that point where it was recommended that we reduce that lot size back to what we had back in the 60s and 70s and during that time frame. But also, I think one of the significant factors, we looked at the R3 multifamily zoning district and the density requirement that was located in there. So that opened up a couple of the developments that we've seen around town, certainly aided us in the ability to hopefully, you know, continue to transform the International Shoe Factory as a result, and also with some new developments. So
Well,
it's an eye-opening.
It's an eye-opening report, and as our industry continue to grow, I mean, we need employees, and so we want to, you know, our goal is to make Washington the place where people want to come live, and by providing affordable housing by way of the apartments, I think we will certainly achieve that. So if you could do that next month, I think that would be good. Okay, thank you. That's really all I have.
City Administrator report.
Just a few items. We have been reviewing for some time. Prior to this, Shauna and I have been looking at the personnel policy manual. It's been in place for quite a few years. It's been our goal to go ahead and revise that, revamp that, and try to keep up and make it current. And so we finally got to the point where we had done our preliminary review and some recommendations. But now we've pulled in the department heads, and we just started having weekly meetings. We started those discussions. I know some of you have brought up some specific items within there. I bring this to your attention now. If there are things that you know you might have heard about within the personnel policy manual that you felt that the city should take another look at it, by all means, now's the time to go ahead and bring those items to my attention, at least, or to our team's attention, so that when we bring this forward back to you, I anticipate we would probably go ahead and do this at a workshop, due to the fact that it's about a 80-some page document, and so there's a lot of things that it covers, and a lot of you probably have never been really delved into our personnel policy manual as well anyway, or at least known what the benefits that we provide for our employees and some of the rules and regulations, incentives, et cetera, that we have. So we plan on revising that and setting up one. We'd like to go ahead and hopefully have our team finish reviewing it by the end of the year. And then maybe after the first of the year, we would go ahead and have a workshop for the council to go ahead and take a look at it and address any concerns. But in the meantime, if you have any questions that you've heard in the past or any ideas that you'd like to go ahead and bring to our attention, now's the time to go ahead and do it, certainly, so we can kind of try to incorporate that.
Do the employees really understand the personnel policies?
Well, they sign off on, which I will say this, in the last 3 years, part of what has helped or whatever, and is like we've discussed, when, in the instance with Mary, when she was city clerk, Mary would sit there and go over that manual with new employees when they came in, but like we've had a previous discussion tonight that, there was a lot on her plate with regards to that, so that was part of when we brought in the human resource generalist, which is Shauna now. She has had, I think, even more time to go ahead and sit down with those onboarding sessions with those new employees as they come in. So to answer your question, I think we've done even more in the last few years to go ahead and make sure that those employees understand those things. If they have questions, we bring up, sometimes they have questions when they're doing the interview process itself, and a lot of times those questions can be flushed out and answered and taken care of. So, but I think there's just a lot of it that, I think a lot of this document had been probably approved even prior to some of you even being on the city council. There had been some updates, I think, in 2012 or 14, I think was the last time it might have been looked at, but prior to that, it's been a while. So, just wanted to bring that to your attention. And speaking of the employees, we are looking at some creative ways to go ahead and do employee appreciation this year, because we have had luncheons in the past during the week of Thanksgiving for the employees. We've certainly invited you guys as well to go ahead, but obviously with COVID, we're going to have to rearrange those ideas. What we are looking at doing is box lunches for the employees that week, one day, so that we can go ahead, they can just drive up and get a box lunch, or we'll go ahead and deliver those that can't make it to us. We'll deliver them to the departments. Also, in lieu of an employee appreciation dinner, which we've always had in January, we are looking at just trying to go ahead and do some other method to go ahead and take those budgeted funds and do something else for the employees that is not involved with a large dinner, obviously, during COVID. So we're just taking a look at those ideas, and then also probably the committee, commission, and board reports, that appreciation dinner that we've had for them in the past, that would be canceled as well, which, since we've typically held both of those in January. And the only other thing, Kevin told me that they're going to start doing the boring on Friday for the water main going to Meadow Lake. So we've been waiting for that contractor to be able to get back into town. That's all I have. I do have a couple items for you in executive session.
Council comments?
Yeah, this probably, John would be the one to, but maybe Darren, maybe you can chime in on this, or Chief as well. 3 or 4 months ago, I made it to a traffic commission meeting, and I asked for a traffic study on Rabbit Trail, Winona, and Lexington. I still have not seen any kind of numbers or seen any kind of report done yet. Do we know what the holdup is?
The only thing I could guess is, I don't know when, if Chief's got some new information, if there was something shared at the last traffic committee meeting. I don't always attend those, so that would be where they would share that information first.
So that was reviewed in the traffic committee meeting 2 months ago? We are not just reviewing that for speed signs, but what the criteria is for if someone else in the city would ask for those same signs. So different traffic studies are being in different parts of town. So we can set up a criteria for when you would put speed signs out if someone else requests. So you just wouldn't put them because they're requested. You have a criteria set up. They want speed signs here. We look at their traffic counts and their studies and say it justifies it, or no, it doesn't justify it. That's what the process is right now. That takes a little longer. Andrea was out for a little while working on that. So it's still in the process, but we haven't forgot you. We're getting her done.
Because you've requested this for Lexington Lane, correct?
Lexington, Winona, and Rabbit Trail.
And Rabbit Trail.
So, and rather than just do the one, we thought We've had other requests. Let's look at a criteria to do for any other requests that come in the future.
Okay. And Chief, while I got you here.
Sure.
I would also like to ask you I know our officers have so much to go on, so much to do, but some way, somehow, we need to start paying attention to derelict vehicles. We are getting abundance of derelict vehicles back in this town again. Wrecked vehicles sitting, non-licensed, sitting back in yards, sitting behind, sitting on the side of houses, grass is growing up around them. And I don't know how many, and I don't get to drive in town all day like some of you, but the little bit I am in town, I see so many vehicles that do not have licenses on them. They have a temporary tag on them that was issued in December of 19. And they're, and I've seen several of them still driving around. I've seen this one vehicle at least 3 or 4 different times, and I don't know how many I get behind that'll have the little temporary tag, and it may be June of 20 or this or that, and I just don't understand how these cars are driving on our streets, because to me, that's illegal. I mean, I pay my taxes, I put plates on my stuff, I feel like everybody else should as well, so.
And you're correct, they need to license their vehicles. We issue tickets to different vehicles. It's not like we're issuing tickets now. Derelict vehicles, we've handled on an all-call basis. We can look at expanding that and start looking in neighborhoods. You have to break them down per neighborhood and go through neighborhoods. But we do issue or notify a lot of people about derelict vehicles. There's just more vehicles out there.
And I understand, like I say, and those temporary tags that are expired, abundance of them. If we can start trying to crack down on that a little bit, I greatly appreciate it.
Something I can pass on and focus on in traffic enforcement.
Thank you.
You're
And
welcome.
I know you guys have a full plate. Thank you.
You're welcome.
One more question, Chief.
Yes, sir.
On the west end of town, that, the speed thing that's run by the sun hasn't worked for a couple of weeks.
And
Are we on that yet?
an engineer is coming out to look at that and repair it. His specialty is taking care of that.
Okay.
So it's been set up with him to look at that and fix it. I've
It's
had
on the
many-
books, in other words.
I've had many discussions with the gentleman that lives down on Front Street about it, because he doesn't understand why the one in Krakow works and the ones up by the schools work and this one doesn't. So we're trying to figure out what exactly is the problem and get it where it should be.
It's my understanding we've exhausted all remedies that we could through engineering department, and then, like Chief said, they had to call somebody that works on them specially. And that's been the only one that I'm aware of that we've had problems with. We have had the other ones that have been functioning in
Should fine.
the other areas for 15 years now, and they're still doing it, so.
All right, thanks.
Welcome.
Where do we have them in other areas, Darren? Because I always thought it was just Front Street.
You have the school zone here, you have the school zone by Lourdes, you have
Those are
flashing
solar powered.
lights.
solar power.
West Fifth Street out there by,
So they'll flash at you if somebody's going,
They don't flash, but they show the sign, they show the speed. I don't think they flash at you, but they show the speed.
they flash for the school zone for the time frame that the school,
One on Highway 100 as you're going down. That's the state sign.
you're right that in the sense that they are a little bit different. They don't show your speed, et cetera. They just show that.
yeah, because I was just aware of the
Flash.
one that we
But
bought.
they
on
are
Front
solar
Street that
powered.
time.
But they are solar powered. We purchased those years ago. I remember bringing those through the council at that time. So,
Anything else?
Anyone else?
Yeah, since we're not going to have a employee appreciation dinner, in lieu of, what you would have spent for 2 people at that dinner for drinks and renting the hall, this is just a suggestion, maybe give all the employees a Frank's ham for Christmas.
we're looking at something very similar to that, Greg. That's what we're looking at, stuff like that. Because we have exactly, like you said, the budgeted amount that we had for that, dividing that up amongst the staff and providing them with something equal monetary value.
Good idea. Anyone else?
Yeah. Mary, I wasn't here last meeting when you announced your retirement. I want to formally tell you congratulations. And I know that as long as you've been here, you've had to accumulate some vacation days, and there's 30 days in this month. And is this your last meeting, or are you going to make another one?
I have one more meeting.
Okay, good. Just want to make sure we're going to have a formal goodbye for you.
We don't want to tell you
One
too
more.
early, though.
Thank you. City Attorney's Report. Public vote on whether or not to hold a closed meeting to discuss personnel, legal, and real estate matters pursuant to Section 610.021 RSMO 2000. Heidrich?
Aye.
Holtmeyer?
Aye.
Obermark? Aye. Hatke? Aye. Scornia?
Yes.
Pettit? Aye. Wessels?
Aye.
Cullentrow?
No.
Yes.
One more.